There are parents here who are puzzled by their child's behavior. Sometimes it seems like the behavior is suggesting willfulness or oppositionality or defiance. And what's so valuable is to pivot in that thinking and to recognize that the behavior is quite often an announcement or a message from the child or from the child's nervous system saying, I'm at capacity. And the thing is, the nervous system of a more sensitive child, it's almost like it reaches full faster, right? So imagine a cup, 2 cups of water, and one cup already has a fair bit of water in it, and the other one doesn't have much. You can pour the same amount into both. One's going to spill over because it was already more full to start with. And so these kids take things in, they absorb it. They, by the way, without our help, they have trouble differentiating what's mine and what's theirs. So these are the kids who can also walk into a room, and I know you've written a lot about this, Judith, and pick up the argument that happened, the tension, the anger, the threat that was issued. They can't name it, they don't know how to make sense of it, but they're still feeling it. And now they're getting more likely to get pushed into overwhelm just by receiving this input that logically they haven't processed or made sense of. And then you see the behavior, and the behavior can look like oppositional behavior, resistance, lack of cooperation, meltdowns, tantrums. So let's talk about what sensitive and highly empathic kids feel that they maybe can't name or process.
It's just an excuse me for 1 second. I hear a noise that I would like to
Okay, I'll carry on then.
Okay.
So this idea, everyone, that the child or yours, if you're relating, your baseline input is higher, meaning that they're going to reach overwhelm sooner. And usually it takes longer to recover. So what looks like a big reaction from your child, like a meltdown, a tantrum, a stomping of the feet, or a shutting down, is really just a nervous system that's trying to manage more internal stimulation or emotional stimulation than it has a capacity for. But when parents see this, they don't see the buildup that preceded the outburst. They see only the behavior, meaning that the overload that the child's experiencing is invisible until they reach this threshold. And this is a huge part of the class today, is that we want to help you understand the signals and signs, and then we'll get into the room and the vibes in the room, but the signals and signs that a parent might be on the lookout for to recognize, oh, we need to take a pause. We need to help this child move into a more regulated state.
And I just want to say that I am on the book tour on the road, but The Highly Sensitive Rabbit, which is a book about Aurora, who's a very sensitive rabbit. It's based on my childhood and maybe based on yours too, and all of our childhoods, about how she was called a crybaby and she was shamed for her abilities. And her nervous system was so highly attuned to everything. She would be empathic for the coyote who was howling in the dark where her brothers and sisters were afraid of them. She was wondering if he was okay. And this is part of our nervous system. It's tuned to compassion. The mirror neurons is tuned to, is this being okay? And I think sometimes that's missing in non-empath people. They don't quite get to, is this being okay? Because they're feeling this being is a threat. This being is going to get me. I don't even go to, is he okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the nervous system, it's so important because it manifests in behavior. And what happens is that often that the child can get overloaded, as you said, and the parents won't know. And it's a process in momentum that's building and building. And then they have a tantrum, and then they start screaming. And then that scream that goes through your whole body, that is just the most primal, disconcerting scream I've ever heard when the child lets loose. And then you want to help the child decrease stimulation immediately. You don't want to get into, will you stop screaming and yell and get into it on that level? That is the wrong thing to do. You'll just aggravate the situation.
Yeah.
You have to take a breath and say, honey, I think you need to go in the room, and have it be dim lights and have it be quiet. And don't confront the child about the screaming at that point. You want to get them down into their hearts, down into their happy place. And they can do that alone. They can often quiet themselves down alone, and you need to encourage them to do that, to say, honey, you can go and quiet yourself down now, and I'll be out here when you're feeling better. But you do it very matter of fact, as opposed to getting into an argument or a confrontation with.
That's a really important distinction. And this idea of noticing that the child on overwhelm, that their capacity has been surpassed and exceeded. And now the thing that you said I really want to underline is this is not the time to talk. So when a child has moved into a dysregulated state because they're overstimulated, either by sensory input, too much noise, too many people, a smell, they're too tired, they're too hungry, or they're, as I touched on earlier, they're picking up the vibes in the room. There's a lot of tension and they are at capacity. This is not the time, however tempting it is, to discuss it. This is the time to look for the things, and we're going to go over these over and over today. For one thing that Judith talked about is letting the child exit the space and go to have some time alone. Some kids will not want to be alone. They'll want you nearby. Some kids will want you holding them. This is for some families, they have found that weighted blankets or the weighted mats that are very grounding, they put pressure on the child's body. Rocking in a rocking chair or swinging in a swing, a manipulative toy that they can play with and get more tactile. Certain smells, and I've often counseled parents to talk with their child. Those times, sweetie, when you feel everything's a little too much, what do you think your body or your heart or your mind would like? And these kids will volunteer. I think I like that lavender spray, or I want to sit in that cozy beanbag chair with my book, or put on some headphones and listen to some quiet music. What music? Let's have a lineup ready. Maybe you want to tag on to that, Judith, because I know you've offered so many tips for parents, adults, to even move into recovery.
Yeah. And I was just recalling when I was very young, and what would trigger me is talking. And nobody got that. If people were talking at me, if they were like this, and their words were coming fast, and I just remember wishing they'd go away. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. That's a big feeling I had as a child.
Yeah.
Let me be. Don't bother me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to say that. And it's so hard to say your talking is bothering me as a
Yeah,
child.
right.
And I still, as an adult, I do not like it when people talk too fast and they're talking at me and they're like this. And I just shut off. I don't even listen.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I find it overwhelming. I mean, voices are sound vibrations like anything else. It's like music, but it's a sound vibration. Some people have very soothing voices and slow voices and welcoming. Others have just nonstop chatter. And
Yeah.
so it's just something that other people might not even think about.
Yeah.
In terms of my voice is irritating you, my words are irritating, my
Yeah.
voice is setting you off. And for them not to take it personally, it's just a trigger for certain highly sensitive children to not hear too much talking going on.
Wow.
It's, if you all want to talk about that, bring that up, that's fine, because it's a nuance and it's often hard to speak about, where you don't
Right.
want to, as a child, you don't want to insult the parent, but you just don't like the sound of the ongoing chatter.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's like static in our brains. And it's very different than somebody who isn't highly sensitive. The talking doesn't really bother them because they have different coping mechanisms. They can let it go in one ear and out the other ear. They're much better than highly sensitive.
Yeah. That's a
And they
good.
could just compartmentalize. I don't know. I didn't even listen. And then I didn't hear what they said. And here, because to me, the talking feels more like overstimulation, like being shot at, but with
Pellets.
what?
I was thinking of pellets, little tiny
Pellets, exactly, pellets. Pellets, like me. As an adult, I can say, let's say to my partner, if he's talking to, let's not talk so much. No, I can't really take it in.
Yeah.
And I can't really absorb it if people are talking really fast because I turn off. It just takes too much to listen for me, it's like a big effort to listen if somebody's talking too fast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I bring this up because as a sensitive person or as a sensitive children, everybody has to get to know their sensitivities, even if they seem weird or nobody's going to understand me. You can be the understanding one with the child, and you can say, "Oh, isn't that interesting? I would love it if my parents had said." Isn't that interesting, honey? We'll try and talk a little slower or give you some quiet. Just let me know. When you're really young, you can't really say that because you don't know what's what. To be able to say, instead of what, you're being irritated by my talking, that I can take it personally. Oh, they don't love me. They don't
Yeah.
even like my sound of my voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go there with it, which is not where the child is coming from.
Right.
And so it's about sensory stimuli. If you could frame things in terms of sensory stimuli instead of this personal assault against you, that would be helpful.
And what you said about helping the child get to know themselves, we start with curiosity, and curiosity is such a beautiful stance for a parent to take. In my work, I talk about being the calm, confident, connected captain of the ship. And coincidentally, those terms, those adjectives, overlap with some training I'm doing now in internal family systems: calm, confident, curious, compassionate, connected, courageous. When we're in the captain mode, we're curious. So if you see that your child has had a pattern of going like this or running, just saying stop, pay attention. Don't take it, as Judith said, it's not personal. The voice is one of the best ways to co-regulate a child: a calm, gentle, slow voice, warm facial expressions. Mona Delahook talks a lot about this in her wonderful brain body parenting work. So a child who's very sensitive will tune into the barrage, the pellets of words. And if they start to go, stop, I don't want to hear, can you be curious instead of be mad and say, it sounds like a lot of words right now is a little too much. Thank you for letting me know. I think that phrase, how many words is it? Thank you for letting me know, are 6 of the best words a parent can say. Meaning, I'm curious, I'm interested in who you are, not who I think you should be, not
Mhm.
how I think you should be.